The sound of water gushing like a broken dam echoed through Willowbrook Estates at 6:47 a.m. on a Tuesday morning. Karen Hutchinson stood ankle-deep in muddy water, clutching a garden hose like a weapon of mass destruction, tears streaming down her perfectly contoured cheeks as she watched the community pool transform into something resembling a chocolate milk disaster. "Turn it off, Karen. What are you doing?" shouted Marcus Chen from his second-floor balcony, phone already recording the chaos unfolding below. Karen's grip tightened on the hose. 3 months. 3 months she'd been fighting the HOA board about that ridiculous pool renovation project they'd approved without consulting her, the longest-serving board member in Willowbrook's 15-year history. They'd voted 4-1 against her, dismissing her concerns about the noise, the disruption, the complete disregard for proper procedures. Well, if they wanted to play dirty, she'd give them dirty. "The construction crew damaged my prize-winning begonias yesterday," she called back, her voice cracking with a mixture of rage and desperation. "Nobody listened when I filed my complaint. Nobody cared when I showed them the photographs. So maybe they'll listen to this." The muddy water continued pouring from her redirected sprinkler system, flowing directly into the pristine pool that had been drained for tile replacement. What had started as crystal-clear construction water was now a murky brown soup, carrying with it the remnants of her destroyed flower bed and 3 bags of premium potting soil she'd strategically placed upstream. Marcus's camera captured every moment. Karen's designer yoga pants soaked and stained, her usually immaculate bob hanging in wet strands around her face, her hands shaking as she maintained her grip on the hose despite the obvious futility of her actions. "Karen, this isn't going to solve anything," called out Mrs. Patterson from across the courtyard. "You're just making things worse for yourself." "Worse?" Karen laughed, a sound somewhere between hysteria and triumph. "They already voted to fine me $500 for excessive complaints. They already rejected my appeal to replant the flower bed with HOA funds. How exactly can things get worse?" As if summoned by her challenge, the distant wail of sirens began to grow louder. Someone had called the authorities. Karen's eyes widened as the reality of her situation began to sink in. The water was still flowing, the pool was completely ruined, and at least 3 neighbors were filming her breakdown. She looked directly into Marcus's camera, mascara creating dark trails down her cheeks. "You want content for your little social media posts. Here's your content. But don't think for 1 second that this is over. The Hutchinson family has been fighting for property rights in this state for 4 generations, and I'm not about to let some weekend warriors with clipboards destroy everything I've worked to build here." The sirens were getting closer now, and Karen knew her time was running out. But as she finally released the hose and watched it snake across the flooded concrete, she felt something she hadn't experienced in months: the intoxicating rush of finally being heard. Even if it meant facing whatever consequences were about to arrive with those flashing lights.